Hey there, guys. Gonna wait a minute for those of you that want to watch this live, but we're going to talk today a little bit about everyday carry. I'm going to throw my regular glasses on here so that I can see. You know what, as I'm looking at this, hey there, guys, I'm going to do a quick camera adjust here. Sorry for the vibrations. I'm trying a little something new. How's that? Let's see. Let's go right there. Yeah. Let's try that. How's my audio? Am I coming in good? Do I sound clear to you? Hope so. So I thought today I'd spend just a few minutes, do a little live format with you so I can answer a few questions if you guys have any, but I'm not going to answer them as I'm talking. We'll first go through the short vid, then we'll see if you've got questions. We're going to be selling these shirts. Basically, you order a shirt and then get a knife. When my wife met me, I didn't have sleeves on anything. So I want to talk a little bit about what you need to carry when you're out in the world. And I'm going to do that by talking about what I carry. But the thing is, what I carry isn't always what you need. When my kids were little, I needed different stuff than now as them being adults. So I've got my kind of like everyday backpack, and it's not some super tactical backpack, but what I want you guys to see is there should be some thought into what you're carrying, and all that thought should not be based on like crazy amounts of fear or unknowns. So I'm going to pack everything back in here and we'll throw it on the table. And this is like an average day of me leaving the house. Now, a couple things that are in here kind of belong in my truck, but because I'm not going to go from here to the truck and back, I threw them in the bag. First of all, I've got a good old-fashioned backpack. Now, I use stuff like Vertex bags. I really like a bag like this because it doesn't scream, oh my gosh, I'm so tactical. And actually, it's pretty comfortable. You know, it's just a good old-fashioned knapsack. This one is from Jack Wolfskin. So, what I have with me, we'll just start on the outside. I'm not a huge ball cap guy, but if I'm on the range or I'm out somewhere where I need to keep the sun out of my eyes, I got a hat. This is a nice hat from my buddies at Neo Mag. So I've got a hat with me. We'll go into the outside of the bag. Oh, crazy tactical stuff here. We've got a charger for my phone, a charger for my main portable device. I also usually have one of these battery bricks with me. And I keep that charged. If I use it, I have a system. I recharge it so that it's there when I need it. Good set of earbuds. And it's not because I'm walking around with earbuds in, but I don't want to hold the phone to my ear if I got to make phone calls. So, you know, nothing crazy there. Got a really, really nice pen here. This is from a company that made this for me as a prototype. And it's I guess you could call it a tactical pen. When they launch this to the public, we'll do a full review on it. A really excellent pen. And it's not anything crazy. It just looks like a good old-fashioned pen, and it's durable. Hand sanitizer. You know, if you have to put your hands on somebody, not in violence, but what if you got to help somebody? I want to be able to stop those germs from getting into my body. Shake a lot of hands, people I meet. I will, I'm not a germaphobe, but people are always touching their nose, wiping their privates, scratching their armpits, and then what do? You touch your face. Good old-fashioned breath mints. My wife buys these. They're peppermint oil. It's just good old-fashioned peppermint oil. I'm going to have one right now because they're super refreshing. Nothing I hate more than bad breath. When it's like disrespectful. I don't care enough about you to not have ass breath. So when I'm on the range or I'm communicating with people, I try to make sure that I've got good fresh breath because we're talking. You don't want to lose your ability to communicate effectively because somebody's blocking your swamp breath off of them. What else do I got in here? I got a really good Surefire EDCL-1-T. This is a 500 lumen when the batteries are brand new. Light, great light from Surefire. Proud to work with these guys. It's on, off, on, off. No 30 tactical anythings. I can hold this light like a cigar and turn it on. See that? I can turn it on here. You can turn the cap. So if you've got to do some work, excuse me, that peppermint oil went down the wrong tube. If you got to do some work where you need to set this light down, changing a tire or something, you can turn the cap slightly and it will come on to a low power setting, or you can turn it and it juices up to full brightness. And that tail cap works the same way too. You just need to see a map or something. You can press it, a little bit of pressure or all the way on. It's not a click, it's a pressure sensitive cap. A lot of pressure, little pressure. So that's a great light. And I like good stuff. A Sharpie. We'll come back to why I have a Sharpie, and it's not because I write my name in bathrooms. What else do I have in here? I've got a couple eyeglass cleaning wipes, which you can use for your phone. And I also have a good old-fashioned rubber band. You can do a lot of stuff with a rubber band. Other thing I got in the outside of this bag is a really inexpensive but quality. This is a Suunto Compass. Just a good old-fashioned basic compass. You can get these for like, this one's probably 15, 20 bucks. But it's quality made compass. GPSs don't always work. I did a cross-country trip a number of years ago with a friend of mine, and he uses his phone for his compass or for his GPS, and I've traveled all over, and I have an atlas with me. I've got a compass, and then I've got like an old school. It's not old. I only bought it a couple years ago, but like a regular Garmin dash-mounted GPS. Why? Because that GPS doesn't rely on a cell signal. And he's like, he lives in the city, and he's like, why are you bringing that thing? And he found out once we were in the middle of nowhere in Utah, Nevada, Arizona, because all of a sudden, no cell service, no GPS. So good old-fashioned compass goes a long way. And then you got to have some know-how on how to use it. All right, we'll go inside the bag. Ray-Ban. So these are Ray-Bans, these are Ray-Bans. And I always travel with sunglasses. And I believe in really high-quality eyewear. So I have corrective lenses. So if you see me on the range and I've got these on, they're corrective lenses. They're not just sunglasses. So all of my glasses have impact-resistant lenses. So I tell you what, this pair is only a couple years old. I've got another pair of Ray-Bans, just all black Wayfarers like this. Not a sales pitch. They're 12 years old. They're great. I've taken them all over the place on vacations, to ranges. My prescription slightly changed, so insurance covered a new pair, so I got them. What else do we have in here? Of course, we've got a gun. We'll come to that in a second. And this wouldn't be in there. This would be on my body. Right now, I've got my Silkies on. I was just out on a dog walk, and I didn't feel like changing to shove all this gear on. Now this would be in my pocket. This is my favorite little light. These are Streamlight Stylus Pro. You buy these suckers for like 20, 25 bucks. On, off, on, off. That's it. 2 AAA batteries. It fits right in the pocket. I don't believe in having like the biggest, brightest, baddest ass light ever if I can't fit it in my pocket, and I'm not always gonna wear baggy, shitty looking clothes. I wanna be able to wear this. I wear sport coats, suits. I'm not gonna take some freaking monster light and shove it in my fitted slacks that I paid to have tailored. So this, I can drop this in the breast pocket of my sport coat, and it works good. So this would be in my pocket, okay? Not in this bag. Had to be in my left pocket. Good old-fashioned gentleman's knife. This is a very basic Kershaw. I believe they call this one, what the heck is the name of this one? It'll come to me in a second. It'll come to me. What do they call this one? They're like 50 bucks, 45 bucks at best. Great blade. I'm a fanatic about keeping my knives sharp. So let's see if it's sharp. What do I have that I can cut that I won't be bent about losing? What's this? What's this? What's this? What do I got sitting here? So a good old-fashioned envelope, right? So we'll just see if it's sharp. And I think that's pretty good, right? That just slashed right through that. And you can see it didn't tear, it cut. So maybe every 3 or 4 days, I've got 2 things in my kitchen where my kitchen knives are. I've got a really nice piece of Arkansas stone that's soaking in oil in a little Tupperware container, and I've got a leather strop. This is not hard sharpening. This is, if I've used this to do a little bit of work for whatever reason, I can take that out, hit it on the stone for a second, dry off that oil, and put it on the leather strop, and it's a razor blade again. And if I do that, and it takes maybe a minute, takes me a minute. I wipe the oil off, clean my fingers off, good to go. So that goes in my other pocket. What else? Magazine. So if you're carrying a blaster, there's a good idea for you to carry an extra mag. And in this case, I know if you watch this video after the fact, the cover image has a Glock 26. It looked good for the picture, which I love a Glock 26. I've got was a picture of my Boresight Solutions 26. But in fact, I have been really enamored with this SIG P365. I wish they were paying me because I know I've sold these guns for them, but they're not. Nobody at SIG knows my name. Well, maybe a few people. But I carry an extra mag with a Neo mag, mag carrier. So that goes in my left pocket. So I got this stuff that's on my body. I'll move this stuff over here so that we're not getting confused and blocked. So this stuff is on my persons. And then one more thing that's usually on me. This is pretty special. This is a one-of-a-kind Colonel blade given to me by the owner of the company, by the designer of the blades. One-of-a-kind special blade for the style of blade work that I like. And a very beautiful micarta handle, handmade micarta handle. And this has that Warncliffe style blade on there. He knows I like Warnies, so he had that done for me. Frickin' beautiful. So that's usually on me. Something else that's on me right now that I had on me during the walk was a high quality bottle of Saber red pepper spray. This is high quality stuff. I know how to use it. It's with me. It's in a spot on my body. I've just got it clipped on my shorts here. I can grab it and I'm ready to go. So that's with me, usually depending on where I'm at. And sometimes I can't have all this stuff. There's places that I can have a knife, I can't have a gun. There's places I can have a gun that I maybe don't have the ability to shove all this stuff on me. Like I said, depending on what I'm wearing. What else? So if I don't have this bag with me, I usually have a nice pen like this. This is a beautiful pen. I actually grabbed this pen from the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas, you know, like from my stay there at a hotel room. It's a quality pen, but if you notice, this pen does good work, but you know, easy pen, but it's small enough I can drop it in a pocket and it's not some like big bulky pile of junk. Moving on. Neither of these things are on me other than a good quality cat tourniquet from North American Rescue, not a knockoff. Know how to use it, have one with you. This is not a discussion about that. So then in my truck, I've got a more substantial first aid kit. This has stuff in it like for a tummy ache and stuff for cleaning a wound out, Band-Aids, things like that. Then I've got a full-on blowout kit from my friends at D-Day Response Group. And this is like you've been shot, you've lost a limb, you show up on a motorcycle crash and somebody's dying. This what's in here. You can stop major bleeding and get somebody stabilized, get them to the hospital. Also in this bag is another tourniquet. In my truck, there's more medical gear than that. I've traveled with an AED, which is a defibrillator, and some other stuff like that. So that's the main stuff. Might that change? Sure. If I'm gonna be away from my vehicle, I've got a beverage with me, which is usually like at least a quart of agua. I may very well have a rain jacket. I've got a really nice rain jacket from Vertex that packs up about like as big as a softball. I would shove that in the bag. Depends on how far I am from my vehicle. I think sometimes dudes get way too serious about some of this stuff, and that's on you. You can have whatever you want. At the end of the day, you know, like the Radian pistol right there. I'm not going to spend my time dragging that shit around with me, planning for something that's probably never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. Instead, I'm going to spend my time getting really good with the pistol that I do train with, that I have thousands of rounds through. I'm going to train with the blade that allows me to do whatever needs doing. Get off of me. I'm going to train with the basic medical gear, unless I've got a sister that's a wilderness EMT, because she lives in an area where a helo's got to come get them if somebody's hurt. A lot different than most of the places most of us are at. We're 15 minutes from a trauma surgeon. So it's almost become comical in this day and age. There is nothing wrong with being prepared. There's nothing wrong with having good stuff. But tell you what, I'd rather have some baby wipes with me, good unscented baby wipes, a lot of times, than more weapons. You're just lugging around crap that you probably don't need. Oh, but what about the time you need it? I challenge you to start sending me some realistic, factual instances where you see people deploying truck guns and such. Oh, it definitely happens. It definitely happens, but not very often. I use I just saw something about a holster. I'm going to move the camera closer to me because it's hard to see that fine print from as far back as I've got you. This is a Vetter Light Tuck with their patented wing. I love it. It's a great little holster. I like minimal bulk on me. What else is in here? I think there's something else. Oh, I got something else in here. I got a I usually like to travel with a harmonica. That one seems to have a busted reed. It's probably loud with that mic. You never know when you might have to bust out a harp and play some blues to put a smile on somebody's face. I'm just kidding. But you know, I spend a lot of time where I'm in a truck, maybe sitting in a Airbnb, sitting on the range. I might want to bust out a little harpy harp. Why the Hill Rod shirt? Well, I'm on this kick as of late, and it's kind of always been my mantra. It's to be myself, not what anybody else wants me to be or thinks I should be or tells me I should be. It used to get me in trouble as a young man. Of course, I shouldn't or can't get in trouble for having no sleeves on my t-shirts, but if people want to judge you because of the way you'd like to dress, the gun you decide to use, oh my God, Mickey didn't have a good experience with a gun, or the gun that he does like has been known to break. Who cares? You be you, you do you. Plan for whatever life you want. Plan for a outcome that you desire. I'm going to pull you guys a little closer so I can see you. Plan for let's do just this. Hello, Costa Rica. Buenos tardes. There are a lot of good holsters. There are also a lot of very junky holsters that people think are good because they look cool or maybe somebody cool uses them. But in fact, there are a lot of garbage holsters out there. Nothing in Louisiana anytime soon. I was down there for an event by New Orleans. If you guys got some questions, I'm not going to be able to scroll back through. I'll spend a few minutes answering some here before I go. If you want to talk about everyday carry stuff, what you're carrying, or if you got questions about my thoughts on stuff, go ahead. Let's hear it. Don't know anything about that holster. I do highly recommend Vetter holsters, though. We've got a code for them, which is Carry Trainer. Hey there, buddy. Tier 1 conceal. Yeah, Jared makes great holsters. Yeah, we're actually working right now with our friends at Langdon Tactical on a class in Arizona, probably for this winter, somewhere near, probably Casa Grande. Favorite baby wipes? When I purchase baby wipes, I look for completely unscented. I don't need my butt smelling like anything. And I also use them like if I'm on the range to wipe my face off and stuff. I don't care for hybrid holsters. How many rounds do I like having on me? Well, for me, if I'm carrying this gun, 12 and 12 plus 1. So what's that? 25 rounds. Yep. What size suppressor height sights for Glock? I mean, that's such a big question. Colonel will be back, yes. Appendix carry when driving. To be honest, that depends. How big a gun are you carrying? If you are in and out of the car every 2 minutes, if you're on a long road trip, are you part of that class in Terre Haute, Jay? I look forward to that. What makes a good holster good or bad? Or what makes a holster good or bad? We'll talk about that real quick. Couple things. This is a loaded gun, so I'm going to unload it. All right. What makes a holster good or bad? 1, does the holster properly retain the weapon? 2, does the holster completely cover the trigger guard? Completely. 3, does the holster have a means of adjusting tension? 4, does the holster completely cover the controls of the gun, or at least cover them in a fashion that you're not going to say, while it's on you, be able to push the button to allow the mag to fall out inadvertently? 5, does that holster have enough retention that gun's not going to fall off of you? 6, is the holster sturdy enough that in a physical fight, the gun's not going to come flying out and or break? 7, do the people that make the holster think about things like the height that it is buried in your pants to allow you to get a master grip? Many of the holsters that I see do not. 8, is the holster made in a fashion that it is minimalist and not causing you to print? There are idiots out there that say printing's not a big deal. Wrong. It is very much a big deal. What are we at? 9, does the gun or the holster allow you to put a gun on you with a level of comfort that you will have it with you and not take it off and not fidget with it? Elite LTT, great gun. Yes, carry it every day if you can. So there's a lot more things to think about than that. There's a lot of people that like shooting, that think shooting's fun, and so they start a business related to something in the shooting sports because they want to get deeper, but they really don't know what they're doing. Come to Pittsburgh. I was just in Philadelphia. I was just in Cleveland. I'm going to be in Cincinnati. You know, it's kind of close. Northeast, yeah, we'll be in New Jersey in a few weeks. Let me scroll back. I saw a few. When would you use point shoot versus aim to shoot? Come to a class. Are your glasses medicated? Yeah, these glasses are medicated, man. They're taking Prozac. Glock 22, I get a better holster. Torn between them. Dude, I have 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at 5 huge boxes of holsters. One holster isn't for every type of clothing. I know money doesn't grow on trees, but $50, you know, it's not crazy. We're going to be doing a Texas class this year. Minnesota would like to. If you guys want to ask questions about carry stuff, I'm happy to answer them. EDC bags that are meant to carry a firearm. Yeah, man. Vertex makes some great bags. Travis Haley's company makes some great bags for that. I believe Victos Brands has a bag for that. There's a lot of companies that make them. I would always rather have a gun on me than in a bag. Always rather have it on me than in a bag. I'm near Chicago. Yeah, I'm great friends with Mike. We don't really work together per se. He attended some of our events, but best way to draw out of concealment. See, some of these questions, guys, are not just something I can just say like this. What's the gun? What's the holster? What position is your body in? Where is the gun on your body? These kinds of things, I would be an asshole if I tried to answer those questions in a sentence or two. Yeah, I just don't know anything about spiders, so I can't comment on it. So I'm not gonna comment on it. Truck guns for active shooter situations. Okay, so let's think about that. Everybody stop with your questions so that I can physically answer this, so that I can fixate on it and answer it. So check it out. Let's use logic. Think about the scenarios in our life where there's an active shooter scenario. The ones that we see on the news, ones that have touched our friends or family, ones that have touched communities around us. Most of the time, even what happened a couple years ago at Major E. Stoneman down in Florida. Let's say that officer did the best thing that he could have done. That would have been to immediately charge into that building with the weapons that he had on him. Had he gone to his car to get his weapon and then gone back in, it's time. The odds of you being in a position where you hear or see an active shooter situation and can grab a gun out of your vehicle and jog into a structure, it's so completely absurd, the statistics of that ever coming to fruition, that I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. It's a nice fantasy. Oh, I'm going to be at the mall and there's going to be a shooting and I'm going to grab my beautiful Radian weapons with a light and a suppressor and I'm going to charge into the building and I'm going to save the day. No, you're not. But what you might be doing is sitting at Cinnabon with your little 13 round on board everyday carry pistol. You might, if you are in a position to do something, you might be able to immediately run to the trouble and neutralize whatever's going on. So much more likely. Then again, if you want to talk about that, what about, are you alone? Are you with your family? Because my family's safety is a hell of a lot more important than a stranger. My family's safety is a hell of a lot more important than people I've never met. Doesn't mean I don't care about those people, but my job, my number one duty, my oath is to my wife and my kids, right? So what's the context? What's the construct? Nothing wrong with a truck gun. The problem with a truck gun is, where is that gun when you're not in your truck? Guns are stolen out of vehicles every day in the United States. Good guys don't steal guns. Bad guys do, okay? So, in practice or in theory, I think it's a great idea. In reality, it doesn't really happen too often. Yes, we do private classes. You can message me. I have lots of backpacks. We talked about that at the beginning of the video. Yes, good point there from Ronaldo. Thanks, Paul. Good holster. I'm going to keep going back to, I'm not a gear queer. I'm not a gear whore where I want to continually just tweak out on gear. I'm looking at, there's at least 400 holsters in this room, at least, because every gun might have multiple holsters. If I find a brand that works, I'm going to stick with it. You guys have named a bunch of good brands. Vetter Holsters makes a great holster that works. Here's a, where's one? They make a great holster that's minimal. It does the job. It holds the pistol well. The clip, you don't see it. It's a frickin' 1/16 of an inch thick piece of spring steel. I like it. So I'm not gonna have a different response for you. There are other good brands out there. JM Custom Kydex makes a great holster. It's kind of like jeans, you know. There's more than one jean company that makes good denim. Trade it for a Glock. Ha 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 ha. Mods. The only thing that's modified on this gun is Ben from Boresight Solutions stippled the grip so I can hold on to it. Colonel Blades will be back. I can't tell you when. It's not my prerogative to do so. Do I dress around the gun? Some, but you know what? I talked about this at the beginning of this video. This this idea of everyday carry has gotten to be really frickin' silly in the United States. My goal is to live. I'm not gonna spend my life fearful, paranoid, or having to do things that stop me from enjoying life. So if I want to wear silkies like I'm wearing right now because they're comfortable as I'm out walking, I'm gonna wear them. And I'm gonna take my pepper spray and I'm gonna take a blade and maybe I'll take a little blaster with me and everybody's happy. The idea that I've got to have on 6-pocket tactical pants with boots and all of these baggy clothes so that I can conceal 33-round Glock mags and all this shit because I'm not really prepared if I don't, it's dumb. It's just dumb. And that's okay if somebody wants to do that. But your question, I dress how I want to dress, and I find tools that I can fit into my garments. And the fact of the matter is, most people that walk around with all this shit on them don't know how to throw a punch. They can't bend over. I'm saying, let me rephrase that. Many people that spend all the energy trying to get all this gear stuff sorted out don't know how to throw a punch, can't run a couple miles without falling over, can't bend over and tie their shoes, can't lift their own body weight. You see the point? There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. Don't know anything about that one. You're not wearing pants. Nope, I'm not. Has there been an active shooter with a civilian stopped by a pistol? Hell yeah, there has been. It's always no pants Monday. Always carry and protect yourself so you don't need tyrant pigs. I'm gonna respond to that because that's an ignorant comment about if you're referring to law enforcement. It's funny how people have a disconnect where they don't understand basic civics of how our government, how our Constitution, how our union works. And when they refer to law enforcement who are employed by me, who are employed by you, who are members of our society, we the people, that uphold the laws that we create, it means you don't understand the basic mechanisms of how our government works. And it's sad to me. That's sad. Just because somebody's a cop, I wouldn't necessarily take their advice on firearms. Sadly, that many police officers are highly undertrained. And if you don't believe me, ask any policeman that you know, how many rounds does your department have you shoot a year? And I'll leave it at that. Anybody that says you shouldn't categorically carry extra ammo, I don't know. Yeah. The Langdon EDC belt is awesome. It's my favorite right now. I don't know anything about that armor hoodie. I've seen it. I don't know. They'll be back. Better. I have a really nice belly band that I've been playing with. And, you know, you got to think about not everybody is some dude that can wear frickin' jeans and a big fat belt. I would rather my wife that has a sundress on or something be able to have something underneath there than nothing. Question about switching guns. The idea isn't not to switch guns because it's not good to switch guns. The idea is understanding the way that the human brain works. If you drive your car every day for a year and then you get in my car, which is nothing like your car, or you rent a car, it's different, right? You're not going to be able to drive the same. You're not going to be able to move the controls until you get comfortable. You will reach a level of proficiency if you shoot enough. You might. Not everybody does. I'm with people all the time. I was with a guy recently. I don't want to say when. I was with a guy recently that's been shooting for 50 years that maybe shouldn't own a gun. So the idea is, yeah, they can't take a punch, right? Coffee makes me poop. Okay. hand-to-hand skills. I'd find a local gym that can teach you some good boxing, good old-fashioned Western boxing. Take some jiu-jitsu, get physical. Okay, George is gonna go away now. Let's get rid of George. How do we get rid of George here? Somebody send me a message so I can block George later. I don't think I can do it right now. Yeah, so that's Martin said a truck gun, car gun isn't for active shooters. It's a get home when maybe there's a flood or, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, floods don't attack people. But depending on where you live, there's been plenty of instances of violence on a roadway. In Chicago here, we've had looters, we've had people protesting. The funny thing is, a lot of times we know about that stuff in advance, and then people go to those locations to see what's going on. How many rounds should you try to shoot a year? I think the answer shouldn't be how many rounds. It should be what level of proficiency. It should be like, how often should I go to the gym? That's not the question. The question is, how fit do you want to be? And so it's not how often should you, or how many rounds should you shoot, it's what level of proficiency. What if it took you 1,000,000 rounds a year to be able to like hit a target this big? What if it took you 10 rounds a year to hit a target this big? So I would define what level of proficiency you want. Don't talk to George. George is going to get blocked here. I have seen it, don't have one. I have not tried a medical ankle kit. I know guys that carry them, yeah. I'd like to come to Michigan. Concerns with chambering a defensive load over and over. 100%, that is a problem. We've got a video that we'll be putting out here soon, and I'm trying to not make a mess with it. Can you see the projectile in there? I chambered that round on purpose in a Glock 17 or Glock 19, I don't remember, until it fell out of the casing. So yes, you should be cautious of that. Look for that video to coming soon. Ammunition's meant to be chambered and shot. It's not meant to be chambered and rechambered and unchambered and rechambered. If that's what makes you comfortable, then that's what makes you comfortable. I would just make sure you train as that gun is drawn, that you're cycling and getting the gun in battery. I got no problem what you do with your trigger. Just make sure it's safe. There's a lot of ding-dong companies making Glock or parts that has make unsafe components. This George guy's annoying me, and I shouldn't let him, because it's silly to let somebody that he's not annoying me, I'm letting him annoy me. Just let him go away. Yes, we do cover TQs. Supplements to lower blood levels, iron supplementation, give blood. The problem with iron supplementation in men is that it can cause some other issues. So I would talk to a doctor about it. I'm not a doctor. I won't be coming to Puerto Rico for that, unfortunately. George, you're a punk, George. You're a punk. You talk like a punk. And actually, George, you call people names, but you're the only one here that actually acts like a thug, George. You're the only one here that acts like a tyrant. That's what a tyrant is, George. A tyrant is somebody that imposes their wills unrighteously on others, George. That's what you're doing, George. Nobody else is doing that, George. So when you finish dinner at your mom's house and you get cleaned up, when mommy tucks you into bed tonight, and you think about how you can be a better human tomorrow, George, I would ask you, sir, to possibly work on your communication skills. It's fantastic that you have this passion. I'm assuming that you feel like freedom somehow should just be unhindered, that nobody should be able to uphold any level of law. And let's just, so everybody understands, there's a reason that there was the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Federalists, Jefferson, Adams, they wanted a constitution. The Anti-Federalists, guys like Adams, Samuel Adams, they didn't want a constitution because they thought we should just be free to do anything we wanted, except the Federalists knew. They knew that most people, not most people, they knew that there were enough people. They knew that there were enough people in the world that couldn't mind their own business. Enough people, the kind of people that don't pick up their dog poop, the kind of people that can't drive politely, the kind of people that if they want your stuff, they'll take it, the kind of people that will hit you if they don't agree with you. They knew that there was enough people like that that couldn't live in peace, that they had to make laws so that there was a rule of order to follow. George is a troll. That's okay. Why do you try to go gray man if see, that's funny too, the whole gray man notion. If you're talking to me, I'm not going gray man. I'm being me. But I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm not a tactical dude either. I'm probably the antithesis of tactical. Blacked out sights, if they work for you, they work. What works for you may not work for me and may not work for somebody else. How do I do it? Hold his name. Oh, I see. Oh, I can put him in a timeout. I can report him as harassment and bullying. All right. And I'm not a punk like this, but you know, don't come into a nice chit chat of friends and just try to you know, raise hell for no reason. Yeah, we'll be back. I was not at TriggerCon. I've got a pretty busy work schedule with the training that we do. All of our stuff is on carrytrainer.com. It's none of it's hidden. So the stuff that's available for the general public to sign up to is on the website. We've got 2 classes on the East Coast coming up. We've got 5 or 6 in the South, some in the West. So, hey, I think we had a good little conversation here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with me. If I didn't get to your question, it's not that I didn't want to. I just can't send me a message if you're interested. We've got an Illinois class that's on the books. We just haven't published it yet. If you don't carry it around in the chamber, it's not the end of the world. You still have a weapon with you. That weapon just requires time for you to deploy it. And how to encourage your wife to carry, help her understand how completely vulnerable she is. Bring her to our couples event. I just carry like a Nalgene bottle. I don't like the bladders. You can't seem to clean them well. But that's just me. I mean, I do have a Camelback and all that. Anyway. Yeah, I'd come to Missouri. FD. Where's FD? FD. Fort. We do. We've been there. We've been to both of those places. We put them up as we set them up, guys. One of the ways that I put classes together is if I see enough emails from people about coming to a place, then I talk about it. We'll be in Indiana in 2 days. Terre Haute, Indiana, 2 days. No New York on the calendar. I've got New Jersey on the calendar. We've got 2 of them in California. You guys got to start looking at the website, man. Be adult. If you're old enough to carry a gun, you're old enough to check a website before asking the question. I get a lot of questions, and this is me being Daddy Mickey, not businessman Mickey. Do some research, think about what you're doing maybe before you ask the question. Uncle Sang's been traveling and working. Am I training full time? I don't really understand the question. I mean, that's what I do for work, yeah. If you want us to come to Mankato, set it up. Help us set it up. Guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go have a nice cold beverage and enjoy the evening. I hope that you're well. Sleeveless carry trainer shirts coming soon. I will cut the sleeves off, send it to you. Hope you're well. Be well. Tell somebody you love them. Think about the stuff that you carry as something that should support you getting home at night, but should also support you living a good full life. It's not about how much weaponry or tactical stuff you can shove into your bag or pockets. It's about, are you living a life that's worth protecting, and do you have the chops to keep yourself out of trouble? 99% of the stuff that happens in our lives, we can walk away from, we can see before it happens, and we can defuse. Be good, be well. That's all I got.